Welcome back to Ryse. So that annoying glitch is still going on, but hold on.
Break the door down,
There
punk.
you go.
Is
There you
that
go.
it?
It's magically gone. Basically, I just had to restart the game.
The game fixed itself.
So yeah, let's try to see if we can find King Oswald.
You can break the sacred door with Yggdrasil on it.
And there we go. We found King Oswald in his throne. That's the British throne. Huh. Somehow I always imagine it to be a bit
Less folkloristic.
More regal.
You know, the guys in the background ranting at you while the battle's still going on. It reminds me of what you can do in the Mad Max game, where you have the guy hanging, yelling at his bed, encouraging him. But if you kill him but leave him alive, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna."
Yeah.
Hey, loyal soldiers, you want to help your leader Marius out here?
No, Java, we're using Assassin's Creed Mook logic.
No, I mean, I love how Marius' soldiers all of a sudden just have vanished. Like, you'd think that last I checked they were...
They ran away.
There are parts where the soldiers will help you, but some.
Well,
others
they technically are. Look at that. It's indicated in the HUD, Romance Health, so they are doing something.
I guess
Yeah,
it's
but
because they're off camera now.
I
though.
guess
It's like,
resisting because we're giving you time to defeat King Oswald.
it's weird because they were literally right behind us, but now it's like they've just vanished. Like, yeah, I get that they must be doing something, but, you know.
I think they were holding the ground because remember, they beforehand they were already holding against the archers, but you clear the path for you to advance.
Huh. This game feels like a blink and you'll miss it sort of thing, and not in a good way.
There you go,
Oh,
very
there you
safe,
go.
like he's holding. Just I thought.
Alright then.
Also, how many of these honor guards Mr. Oswald has?
As many as the game requires it to.
I mean, it's just like you said, you could at least say we're different
my
models
God.
and this will make it more interesting.
Oh my god, guys, this wound texture, it's painted on.
Yeah.
Oh, and it is obvious too. I mean, okay, where do...
How many more times am I gonna kill this guy?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Okay, word of
Yeah,
advice...
here
Oh, there he
he
is
is
again. Word of advice, if you're going to go for blood and gore, go all in with the textures. Like, don't just make the wounds painted on. It just looks goofy. I'm looking at you Alone in the Dark remake.
It's a reboot, Jova.
Reboot, remake, and yet it's
Even
still
though
fun.
it technically isn't, because it refers to events of the first game, so what the fuck, Harry?
Well, I guess it could technically be more confusing too. The Superman Returns is basically the biggest, most aberration of a
Doesn't
movie
he
I've ever
just
seen.
blatantly say it's ignoring 3 and 4 and just being a follow-up to 2?
But that's just the thing, Tail. That's what it's supposed to be. But that's the thing, Tail. Let's think about this for a moment. Here's the problem: the plot is a sequel. However, the characters are rebooted because they behave nothing like they did in the Donner films. And there's also parts where it feels like it's a remake because it's for some reason it feels like it needs to tell us Superman's backstory all over again.
Oh,
Even though
there's
it's
King
supposed
Oswald.
even though it's supposed to be a sequel to the Donner films, which already did that.
So, Mr. Oswald, how many men do you want to die before you start actually facing yourself?
It begs the question: if you felt like you needed to explain the backstory again, why don't you just do a reboot?
Oh, there's Boudica again.
Or I'll end your bloodline.
Oh snap.
The mighty of Rome, everyone.
Wow, we don't even fight him, he just gives up.
It was Vercingetorix who threw his sword, not... Fuck me,
No.
whatever.
Well, to be fair, Tail, that was probably the best way of getting him to surrender.
Well, oh no. I don't think
It's
Teal's
the
mad
idea,
about
the
that.
symbolic
It's more
side of
the
it, that,
symbolic
you know...
thing.
Also, we don't get to fight King Oswald? Seriously?
That
No.
feels disappointing.
Disappointed!
If it feels any better to you, we're gonna be able to get a proper big final boss battle to the death with Boudica later.
Good
How
to know, I
nice.
guess. Alright, the crucifixion. Yeah, this was a thing actually. To showcase the might of Roman to discover basically psychological pressure, the Romans literally painted the streets with their enemies.
And now we're gonna meet the Emperor's sons, who are just as much of assholes as his father.
Of course.
Gods.
Well,
Let
technically we're gonna meet only one of them now.
me guess, it's like the villain of the
Oh,
Gladiator.
Oh, and
the
look
Britons
at
will never commit to. So there we go. Turns out that Marius and Vitalian are starting to doubt if the Emperor's methods are correct.
No.
course.
Was it actually recorded historically that there were soldiers who
With
were against?
considering how vast it was, it is bound that it was at least some minor rumors at the very least. But the things didn't change until Constantine.
Friends of Rome.
Who are you?
We'll explain that in the climax too. For now,
Basilius.
Son of the Emperor. Commander Vitalian. Congratulations on your safe arrival. Any later?
He's trying, but
Okay.
that voice does not
Okay,
fit.
Pedro, can you put the real role now and having the actual voice acting here?
Teo, this is the real voice acting.
Oh no. Sorry, I need to be more Oh no.
Still missing.
Oh,
This is
Commodores are still
real.
missing. Great.
To find out what these savages have done.
Get it?
They
The
don't like you and
irony.
me,
Oh,
which is
hold on.
evil.
Please explain now.
But this new chieftain Commodus, son of your
Wait, Commodus?
So there you go.
Now we're ripping off the gladiator, seriously?
Not just that, Teo, but I love the way he says it. I'm sorry, we were voted because your new chieftain is evil. Well, how old are you? 10? Like, wouldn't it make more sense and fit the script better if he said,
You
"You're,
invaded our land."
Yeah, you invaded your land and you're a disgrace to what? No, instead, no, he's evil. What are you, 10 years old, Oswald?
Wow. Oh my god, that hand gesture he gives. Like, whichever comes first. Bada bing, bada boom.
The sad
Yeah,
part is
that's
that,
actually kind of
again,
funny.
the sad part is that, again, visually, the cutscenes are very well directed. Again, like, imagine if you're watching this on mute. Just watching it just for the technical aspects. Like,
T-pose for dominance.
Not just that, such punctuation.
yeah. Like, because on a visual, technical standpoint, the cutscenes are very well directed. That's the shame. The fact that
The
so much
Hornet
effort,
King?
that so much effort on part of the
let me-
animators went into this script.
Pedro,
Let me
the
guess,
Hornet
he-
King? Is this like
let
an
me guess,
official Black Cauldron video game now?
Like,
Hey, Pedro,
apparently.
let me guess, they kill his daughter anyway.
No, they don't.
No.
Pedro just told me that we have a rematch with Boudica later, so yeah.
Yeah. Not that it matters much, too,
See?
but yeah.
There's really only one language these people understand. The language of force.
Is that true for Britain dudes?
No, normally
Jovan,
most people
Jovan.
understand there's bickering.
Oh, I'll have to.
Black, bottomless locks. Horned men from ancient times roam this land, and of those who venture there, few return.
So that means
Okay.
we're in with a chance.
Oh my god. Okay, I both
This cannot
love
be real.
and hate this guy.
You will lead your men.
Like,
This
don't.
is, I'm having a nightmare.
Okay, I mean, it's so weird. On
It's
the one,
something that I had to eat.
on the one
Probably.
hand, this guy is terribly cast for this, but
Okay,
by
I
God,
need to
is
see
he doing
to
the
check
best?
who is voiced by.
Did you check? Did you notice
But
how?
Basileus.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Actually,
I know.
I'll check your screen. I'll check your screen later.
Again, guys, I'm
actually.
sorry. I have never seen a performance that I've both loved and hated at the same
I'm sorry,
time.
Joe, but this is going to be my running gag. Again, Marius, don't you think we might want to do something instead of just you telling me your life story for no reason? We might want to.
Shut up, please. It is important.
Besides, there may be some clues in my backstory to help us.
I failed to realize how, Marius.
Hey,
Anyway, Basilius is voiced by Jamie Ballard. I think I heard already that name.
you return.
Well, like that
Horned
guy
men-
we crucified.
Horned men from ancient times. So that mean that back in ancient
no.
times, the people had horns?
Wait, oh my god, Tio, I
got
see you have
nothing
something
to-
foreboding, Tio.
Pedro?
Place of fire and death.
Not for nothing, but that's literally what the last line just said. That was literally what the other guy said earlier in the flashback. Why are you repeating?
Well, that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm
No,
asking
no,
them.
not you. The game.
Wait, the weaker man? Is Commodus gonna be voiced by Nicolas Cage?
Please.
But anyway, no, I checked Pedro. Apparently the same voice actor voices King Irwin in Dragon Quest XI.
The Italian one or the
The English one.
Okay, well I can tell
Apparently
you
it's
that
a
he's-
young,
well,
apparently it's a young one.
I can tell you that he's great in Dragon Quest XI.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's definitely giving a good performance here. It's just he is so, I don't know, something about him doesn't feel right. I mean,
you yourself said, Teo. Sorry. You yourself said, Joe, but he's horribly miscast. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Was that out of place? Well, the character itself is kind of out
Instead,
of place.
King Oswald is voiced by Anthony Byrne.
I think it's supposed to be the typical arrogant, well, not prince, because the technical term for it was not prince, I think. It's supposed to be the typical arrogant son of the emperor who's conceited and arrogant and all that stuff.
I think what Wibbs means is like, well, this character borders on outright comedic in a sense where we just have seen people getting crucified and slaughtered, and yeah, I get it, it's supposed to be the point, but something about it feels like it could have been done much better. Like, well, it should have been played more for the
Also,
black
this is
comedy routine, whereas
spooky.
here, it feels like they're merging comedy with horror, but just having them run alongside each other rather than
Stop
fusing the two properly.
saying lads.
So Teo, on a scale of 1 to 10, considering you were interested in this game, how disappointed are you?
It's like that phrase, my disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined.
See, you know,
Yeah, question. What's so wrong about them saying lads?
well,
It's
it's a clear British thing.
Because that's a British thing, dude. The Italians don't say that.
Okay, no. To put in perspective of a grammar sentence, it's a very colloquial term. The writer thought process was to make it as if it's similar to a coach's his team of football players. Instead, it is wrong. It is treated still like military. The correct term will still be, even at worst, a generic comrades, or soldiers. A very sterile type of term. Instead, lads is extremely colloquial for no real reason.
Basically, it's like, what's a term that you wouldn't hear Britons normally use?
What the fuck is going on?
I know, but
Righto?
sidewalk.
Righto? Maybe?
Okay.
We heard that one a lot in
No. If let's say if us Brits in games suddenly started saying the word sidewalk instead of pavement.
Well, yeah.
It's similar to one thing that, for example, in Kara mentioned in his retrospective of the Exiles, when one writer, when he took over, completely did not understood how characters are supposed to talk. Dweebs, you have the exposure of the X-Men movies about the character of Sabretooth. Unfortunately, to actually have to remind you about X-Men Origins Wolverine, but you kind of know how Liv Schreiber makes the character of Sabretooth talk,
Well,
being
then
not
again,
exactly...
in X-Men 1 he barely talked at all.
Well, for X-Men Origins Wolverine, I mean, he doesn't have the character itself. He doesn't have the best composure of it. He's a very gruff type of person, one that would not take his time to say the proper words. Instead, abbreviate stuff, have an accent, stuff like that. Okay. There is a variation of the character of Sabretooth in the run that I just mentioned, and when that writer took over, Sabretooth stopped speaking like that, and instead started speaking as if he was reciting a theater play, coining phrases. His average exclamation became, "What the devil?" which is something that Sabretooth would never say. this is the thing that I mean. Is to applying the wrong type of language to the wrong type of character. Also, what the fuck are these people? These men?
I think a good example.
They're Britons, except they have masks too. Apparently, Oswald decided to trust the imprisonment of Commodus to his quote unquote horned men from ancient times. Dibs, where exactly do you guys even get these horde men from?
I mean, they are technically different models.
Did you see, Pedro? We have a gym that specifically made for making people like these.
Oh no, actually, Pedro, I don't know if you watched that movie, but you know what this is? It's the stupid plot twist of the 13th Warrior.
Yes, that's right. Kick him off rather than take him prisoner. He totally won't come back to wreck your crap.
But Jova, no man can survive that fall.
You do know that. Oh wait, never mind. That's Greece that did that.
Fortunately, too,
We have a title, of course.
Not just that, too, but remember, Jova. He has the guidance of this.
Oh,
use the
hello.
close-up.
Oh wow, that close-up was wonky.
So, Tail, does her look remind you of anything?
No, not really, honestly.
We got the we have the title of the game.
I can think of maybe one particular goddess, but that has nothing to do with resurrecting people or even being friendly with humans at all in general.
You see, Dwibs, in order to mask the fact that we're clearly doing a roll credits moment, we'll replace the title.
Seriously, Marius?
Let's just say, Tail, the payoff of this chick is going to be incredibly lame and kind of renders this game very...
I can hardly wait.
So essentially she goes...
Oh, and how convenient when you stop Paul at the same nearest location.
She replaces the Y with an I.
Yeah, I know, like, for no reason. But yeah, so essentially she went, oh, you would have died. But I want to see how this goes, so one up.
Also, anyway...
She actually has a reason for helping us, Joey. It's just that we're all going to learn...
Oh, I can imagine. Later. But, no, again, to what he said. So, Pedro, did you actually saw the 13th Warrior?
No, I don't think I have, no.
It's a very boring movie. There's a nice premise. Antonio Banderas is an Arabian who gets captured by Vikings and brought back to their land. So he slowly learns the language and actually makes friends of them, and helps them defeat a menace that is infesting their village. On its own, it's a nice premise. Promise that that's a terrible plot twist, but gone.
So as you just saw, there's ground traps, but all you have to do is press A to deflect them, because the game slows down.
It clearly feels as if one of the mechanics that you will have used had to use the Kinect for doing that.
Probably, yeah. Again, you can still tell that this game was barely changed from its early Kinect.
I do wonder if that is the reason why it's so simplistic at the end of the day.
Well, I've already explained it. That's the primary reason why this game is so simplistic, because they needed it for the sake of the Kinect. That's why, if this game was made with a controller in mind from the beginning, it probably would have been a lot better. But now we can't have nice things because Microsoft.
Wow, you stabbed that guy several times and he didn't even
Yeah,
flinch.
super armor, Joe.
That's because he's guarding us with his hammer.
You stabbed him when he was bare-chested, but yeah, let's call it super armor.
Well, to be fair, Jova, plenty of people have also stabbed me. It's because video game logic. His life bar isn't depleted yet.
I know. I guess being a horned man gives you extra endurance.
What the fuck?
I mean,
what was that?
What was that death animation?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where it's one of those things where even when you're making a video game that's supposed to be technically grounded, you should always know when. Like, there are things that.
I know they use a song and dance. I was just making fun.
Sure.
But yeah, Dweebs, another example. Imagine if the Britons all of a sudden spoke like Africans. That's what this is like, essentially. Like if you use terms like...
Or if we started talking like people from New York or something.
Exactly. It's like... Okay, see, here's the thing. The French people in Lautrec spoke in British accents.
But at least they used French terms.
Yes, exactly.
There was actually one character with an actual French accent.
Yeah. I mean, so whatever. Okay, it's pretty okay. If you're gonna have a game taking place in France, but you still need it to be in English for the sake of the English-speaking audiences, just obviously you're gonna use British because, well, that's European English. So there is a logic to it. It's just that, again, you have to do it better than this. Like, you have to really go on and the track did, and that's one of the things that this track did well, which was, despite the British accents, they still use the French, and even when they speak French words, they say them properly. This game, on the other hand, there's little to no reason for this game to be an ancient Rome game at this point, because they
barely use Latin words in general.
And like I said, it feels like Britain's cosplaying as Romans to the point where they're using clear British terms.
Yeah.
The primary issue for me with the story is like I could handle the historical inaccuracies and the bad terms and even the accents if the story was interesting. That's my main issue. The problem is that the story, this game tries to be a war epic. It's clearly trying to be a war epic in the style of the Gladiator, or in style of those old. Yes, Spartacus. It's trying to be something like that. The problem is it doesn't have any idea how to be epic in the same way Jupiter Ascending was trying to be epic. It tries to look and sound epic rather than feel epic. It says, oh, if I have these big speeches from the commander to the soldiers, that's epic and shit. Because other war movies, yeah, but here's the thing: you have to actually earn those moments, you know.
Also, about the accents, I mean, people can meme and joke all the way you want about Gambit constantly repeating Mon Ami in the X-Men Legends game, but the truth of the matter is that is actually, inherent to his Cajun accent. So, if it already started having Spanish terms, that would be weird.
And if, like, you're afraid of offending someone, why not just hire Italian voice actors? Unless you have to get someone famous.
This sort of, but
well,
okay.
Reaching
more of a middle ground, because a good example is Tekken. Tekken pretty much since 4, I think, or 4 or 5, one of the two, with characters that were not Japanese or English, started actually hiring voice actors of the nationality of the characters that are portrayed, not people who live in America, actual voice actors from their countries. There is the character of Leo, who is in German in Tekken 6. They brought a German voice actor. The character of Claudio Serafino in 7 is Italian. They brought an Italian voice actor. Stuff like that.
Yeah, like, just hire people of the nationality and see if they can speak enough English so that they can voice the characters
do what
properly.
Level 5 did with Jeanne d'Arc and have an actual nationality person, give a consultant to the voice actors to give a not too stereotyped but still believable accent to their voice acting.
Sure
You
that.
know about Assassin's Creed 2?
No, Jeanne d'Arc, you said.
But to be honest, Assassin's Creed 2 went for the right idea. I can give you that, Libs.
And you can definitely tell, like, Roger Craig Smith can put on a pretty good Italian accent.
He can.
They even also have an in-universe excuse by having the animals not being in sync completely. So.
Although to be fair, Teo, the localization of Jeanne d'Arc was done by Sony America, not Level 5. Level 5 didn't even have a localization.
Jeanne d'Arc was a Sony exclusive?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a Sony IP. Remember, Joe, but this was back when Level 5 was a second-party developer for Sony.
Huh, oh yeah, that's right, PSP and all that.
Yeah.
And the other two PS2
remember, Jova.
They had a 4-game contract. So they made the 3 for the PS2 and 1 for the PS3.
And remember, Jova, it's a game centered all about the 100-year war in France, and it was localized only for America, because of course.
Unfortunately, the PSP is region free.
Yeah.
It does seem like a weird decision still.
I mean, it wasn't even in a point where the PSP was dead or anything. No, like, and the PSP was the go-to portable for RPGs for the people were getting. So
I swear that era of gaming was one where Sony did not have their heads on straight for a good portion of it.
Well, remember, Joe, but that was back in 2006 when the PS3 came out, so we all know how Sony was at the time.
You know, again, is there like this demonic spirit that possesses companies to have this one stupid gaming generation? Like with Sony, it was the PS3.
Remember, Joe, it's what a lot of gaming fans like to call the third console cursed.
Hey, hey, you know what's funny? The same guy who presented each of these consoles, what's his name? The guy who also
Presented
apparently...
Stadia.
Yeah, the same
Bill
guy who's
Harrison,
also
yeah,
hosting
Bill.
the Stadia thing. Maybe he's the cause of all this stupidity. But yeah, you're right. Also, the third console curse: PS3,
Yeah,
Xbox One.
Oh,
Nintendo didn't use
Prism
the
Legionnaires.
64 because Nintendo 64 was massacred by the PS1.
Oh god.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Nintendo 64 had plenty of great games, much like the Wii U also had great games. The problem is, that decision to stick with cartridges really scared off third-party developers.
How
Because,
ironic that now Nintendo found out a way to have cartridges while also attracting developers with the Switch. But yeah,
Well,
I
they
guess
were-
that just
well,
shows the change
Well, the
in
Switch
times.
has a higher install base.
Not just that, Dwebs. The carts in the Switch carts are different because they don't function in the same way that cartridges from back in the 90s did. They're not.
that.
Yeah, the carts, the technology behind the Switch carts are more similar to SD cards. They're not actual. Okay, let me put it like this. Think of the Nintendo 64 cartridges as VHSs.
Or the floppy disk equivalents to flash drives.
Well, floppy disks were actually able to carry data very easily without having to even turn off the console. because
Oh
the
yeah, but
computers
not
are-
nearly as much is the point.
True. But I'm talking about like because here's the thing: the way cartridges back on the 90s worked with the Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo 64 is that the way it worked with is that every time you put in the cartridge in a console, it's like that entire console becomes the game, and that's it. There's literally nothing else to it. The consoles the consoles back then didn't even have main menus or extra features or anything like that. They were literally just for the games. So when
Yeah,
you
no,
put in
I had it at 64 for a bit.
Oh,
well,
really?
I get that. It's just I'm just trying to say that back in those days, when you put a cartridge in a console, it acts like the entire system is the game. Whereas with the Switch cards, they act more like SD cards. You're just accessing the card where the game is. So obviously, it's a lot easier to mass produce because the technology has advanced so much since then.
Hey, look,
but-
Pedro,
also,
someone using
what
the
I
shield
say-
is not a fat guy.
Also, Jack, when I say I had it at 64, I don't mean I had it when I was growing up, but I'm like a year or so ago.
Oh yeah,
Like
of course.
Like Theo said, might as well turn this commentary into a history lesson.
I mean, hey,
Hello and
hey,
welcome
we
to
were,
the history of video games.
Shut up, you have to learn something.
and
That's
hey,
the tagline.
and hey, you sure aren't gonna learn history from this game at the rate we're going.
No, again, I noticed there's a shield bearer who was not a fat guy.
In fact,
So
guys, I can sum up the Roman Empire in just a few sentences. The Romans, they got strong, they invaded, they fucked up.
Oh, and Jova, let's not
pretty
forget.
much.
Going back to the third console curse, let's not forget Jova, the Sega with the Sega Saturn.
Oh god, yeah.
It really is the third console curse. So we really have to wonder if Stadia ever actually has a Stadia 2 or a Stadia 3.
Oh god, can you imagine Stadia Free being even worse than the first Stadia?
But wait, Joey, you skipped. You
Organize
skipped
defense
the
information.
Microsoft.
Oh yeah, basically what we have to do now.
Oh,
we
time
have,
for another Legion
Yeah,
segment.
the murderous Briton bastards have kidnapped a lot of Roman soldiers and they're going to burn them alive. So we have to save them. So let's do that in the next part.
See ya.
See you then.